Contrast Uncut, yeah, you know that's us. Where we only speak the real and the real rock with us. Where we motivate the people in politics.
What's happening? It's Contrast Uncut. It's season 4, episode 3. Man, big shout outs to Uncle Snoop's Army and Bobby D Presents. I appreciate you, brothers. It's your host, Zylo, aka DJ Juan Dollars, like I won some money. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have one of them living legends on the show today. He's known worldwide for being an R&B, soul, pop, hip-hop singer, and #1 Billboard charting songwriter. This incredible brother has been 4 times nominated and 1-time Grammy Award winning, selling over 18 million records worldwide. He has worked with some of the biggest artists and greatest acts of all time in the music industry, such as Madonna, Johnny Gill, Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, Lil Wayne, Flo-Rida, just to name a few. And if you don't know who I'm talking about by now, it's all good. We got all episode to chop it up with Jackie's Boy. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's up, brother, man? I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show, G.
Absolutely. Come on. This was an easy play. Easy play.
Thanks.
And I mean, not just because of what you've done as an artist and as a musician, just, you know, all of the things you've overcame, but you've also overcame a battle with life. And that's something that I got to make sure I take my hat off and make sure I give you a lot of love, because you faced it and overcame, and you still smiling. You still got all the joy, no matter
for real,
what.
man. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. It's been a blessing to be here and to go through this journey. I mean, about 3 years ago, I was, stricken with a tumor called the mieloblastoma. And man, this thing is like, unheard of. I never heard of it. And, when doctors start throwing around big words, you'd be like, what the hell? What? Okay, can you slow down? Can you explain what that is to me? So it was a kind of a tumor that basically ate away facial tissue and bone. And it's 1% of the world's tumors in the world. So it was very, very rare. I went through the procedure, and initially I thought it was going to be a year recovery because they told me that I may not be able to speak or sing again due to the tumor being so large. But, by the grace of God, I ended up going through a 7-hour surgery. They removed my right jaw and replaced it with a titanium plate. So from my ear to right where my lips are on the right side is completely, titanium. So it's a trip, bro. It's a trip.
You know what? The most amazing part is that the vocal point did not get bothered, did not get stepped on, did not get heated. All it did was get a little bit of extra weight on the side. That's all.
Yeah, that's just a little bit, a little longer in airport security, but that's all right.
Everybody else got diamonds in their mouth. He said, I got something real expensive in mine.
That's what's
So, bruh, time's the most finite thing we have on this earth, brother. So I got to make sure I let you know from the very beginning, I appreciate your time coming on the show. And, as we get ready to jump into the history of your history, I just got to make sure I tell you, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you, man. Like I said, appreciate you. This is a great platform and a way for people to express themselves and to talk about what's going on in the world. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely. I got this quote. Let me know how this quote relates to you, or if it doesn't, it's all good. The idea is I just want you to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Are you ready?
Shoot.
Pain doesn't tell you when you got to stop. Pain is a little voice in your head that tries to hold you back because it knows if you continue, you will change. Kobe Bryant.
Amazing quote. He is an example of fighting through the pain to get to, victory. And I think that you need that. You need to know how to proceed, and you can only learn through failure. So for me, I failed so many times. You know what I'm saying? I came to LA, on a bus, Greyhound bus with my younger brother, and started street performing. And 5 years of street performing, through the rumbling tummies of being hungry. People telling you that you ain't gonna make it. People telling you that you ain't got what it takes. People telling you, well, why would they sign you? Why would they want to work with you? You just a street performer. Like all the things that basically they made me and built me to be in a position that I'm in. I remember one time I went to Las Vegas is one of my hustles. Me and my brother and another friend of mine, we went there with our CDs. And this is back in the day when CDs was like still popping. So we had about 500 CDs we pressed up. And we told each other, we said, we are not going back to LA until we unload every single CD. And that night, because we was planning on being there for, 5 days, but we didn't even have enough money to get a hotel room. We went there with $20 a piece, just enough gas to get there and enough money to get something to eat for the moment.
That day.
So for that day, exactly. So we prepared to stay for as long as it took. When I tell you I sold myself 110 CDs in one day, and then I went back and sold another 100 the second day, and then my brother sold his in that day, and my friend sold his in that day. We ended up, making enough money to not only get a hotel room, but get our way back, have a little money in our pocket, and more so than money, it taught us a valuable lesson that if you stick to something, work hard enough, and you push yourself through the pain, through the problems, through the embarrassment, because, it's embarrassing to talk to somebody who you don't know and ask them for $10. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a CD. But when you do that, you unleash a certain level in your life to be fearless. And I think that's what street performing taught me as well, to be fearless. So with that quote, I completely agree. And pain comes in many forms, and pain also comes as failure. So I think that's a part of the learning lesson.
Absolutely. No, great sacrifice comes great reward. And, Kobe always taught us all to enjoy the process, no matter how heavy it gets. And, as you said from the beginning, you said you came to LA on a Greyhound. If you've never been to LA, that Greyhound downtown LA is nothing to play with. You 2 blocks away from Skid Row and 10 Island. You got to walk through that for about 2 miles before you even get to the dang Blue Line, the Metro Link, just to get somewhere else. And then this brother's also talking about street performing. He ain't street performing downtown LA, he's street performing in Santa Monica, Venice, and that is a biggest hustle in the world. You battling, people that have tried to do this career their entire time, came to LA and didn't get nowhere. And like that level of achievement, brother, I gotta take my hat off again, because you took the long route. You didn't say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna stand in front of this building right here and sing until somebody says you need to come inside. He was like, oh, I'm gonna sing in front of everybody.
Yeah.
That's a belief in a dream. So I gotta ask you, did the game choose you, or did you choose the game?
I think I want to say I chose the game, because my story probably would have ended differently if I would have stayed in my hometown. I'm from a town called Savannah, Georgia, where, it looks pretty, but it's some stuff going on in that city. And, especially for people who look like me, there was very few options, you know what I'm saying? And, my family, most of my uncles were in the military. I didn't want to do that. And a lot of my friends was out hustling, and I didn't want to do that. So there were, moments where I knew that I wanted something different for my life. And I knew that if I didn't take this chance and I didn't come out to LA and I didn't believe in myself, I would probably repeat the same cycle of, being stuck, and there's a lot of people stuck, in that same kind of day in, day out grind and hustle and figuring out what they want to do, or have a dream but can't really fulfill it or don't know how. So I give credit to a friend of mine named Justin, who actually implemented the seed in my mind to go, hey, think bigger than Savannah, think bigger than, wherever your situation is. So, and it brought me out to LA.
Now, how long of a bus ride we talking from Savannah to LA? Because people don't know this.
Talk about 3.5, 4 days, man. Woo. You know what I'm saying? And the funny is the less money you pay, the longer the drive. So if you got a little bit of money, it might even take 5 days. So I'm all too familiar with those back and forth runs, man. And I tell you, it was, man, it smelled so bad. Oh my gosh, bro! Like, it was just terrible.
I used to do a lot of Greyhound, Amtrak bus riding myself. Pretty much my father passed away young, and my mother was incarcerated. So my brother and sister used to take care of me. And so you'd be back and forth on that thing. Like, It's the thing to do. It's your own
Yeah.
transportation. As soon as you sit in the back, you scoot your legs over. I take up this whole spot, play on my music. Don't bother me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, Brett, I gotta ask you. You know, I want to go into the first confirmation where you feel like it was your confirmation that music is what you're supposed to do with your life.
I think the first confirmation was for me was when I got booed. I got booed at a high school talent show. And some people would be like, man, you got booed. Why would you want to keep going more? But booing actually helped me because it really made me see that I wanted it bad enough to face the ridicule. You know what I mean? And let me set the story, because it wasn't because I sung bad. It was because we was at a rival school, and we did an audition. Me and my friends, we were an R&B group. So there's Beach High School, which is my high school I went to, and there was Savannah High. And we hated each other, like straight hated each other. Just, obviously school rivalry, that's just how it go down.
It's fun.
Yeah, so we went to the rival school to do an audition, to do a talent show. And nobody knew that we were from Beach. So when we started singing, somebody said over the speakers that we was from that high school. We was from Beach High School. And the rumblings, you could just see the crowd, because first they was like feeling it, it was clapping, singing, and as soon as the rumbling was like, yo, they from Beach, woo, 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 everybody just started booing, and my mom was in the crowd, and she was watching the whole thing. And if anybody know, moms don't play, you know what I'm saying? So when mom heard the booing, she was like, y'all ain't booing my babies out here. Now that ain't happening. So she over here arguing with the people in the crowd. and we finished the song, but we got off stage. And I think at that moment, it taught me that if you really want something, and you really want to go hard for it, it don't matter what school you go to, talent is talent. And you got to really push it if you really want to take it to the next level. My mom said to me that these are things that's going to push you and going to make you grow to be a better person, not only as a better singer and a better writer and a performer, but a better person. So I didn't take it hard. I didn't have no hard feelings at all. I learned from it. And I think that's what made me really want to do this.
You know, what's amazing is that it put a chip on your shoulder, but it left an impression that it scarred you enough that you didn't allow that chip to go away. Like, you know what? I remember this feeling, and you know what? I'm going to make sure I iron this out. I get it nice and strong and buff on them. So when as soon as it comes, that muscle gonna flex without even me looking.
Absolutely, facts.
So no, that's incredible, bro. Because a lot of people take determination one way, and then they run away from the actual battle, and they forget that the determination is supposed to help you go over the battle and overcome.
I agree. We gotta embrace all parts of the journey, not just the good ones.
So I asked all my love dudes, because, I love music. And then as I growing up in LA, you learn that the street music, you can't really be slapping the love music like that everybody, because they looking at you like you soft and simp. And, that impression always stuck with me as I ran with the streets. But I always got to ask all my brothers that do the music, man, why did you choose love music? What was the thing? I've asked 112 this. I've asked RL from Next. I asked a lot of people this question, and, hit me with your honest opinion.
I think for me, what made me choose love music is because I think it spoke to me, man. I remember being in my apartment, coming up, as a kid, singing in the hallway, singing 112, singing Drew Hill, singing, anything that we could find, get our hands on, Jagged Edge, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was big on groups, you know what I'm saying? R&B groups, and then I then started listening to Maxwell, and I started listening to just those great songs. And I think there's something about when great love lyrics and great melody combine, it makes the perfect storm of a great song. And I mean, it's bumping in every wedding, for the last however many years we've been created, you know what I'm saying? Like, a great love song, and it don't matter where you at, when you put it on, it's that feeling that overcomes. You be like, whoa, like, what is that? So I always wanted to give that type of feeling, or have that type of feeling. So that's what I feel.
No, that's definitely a stamp of timeless music. When you hear that title, people sometimes don't understand it. And you definitely understand it. I mean, my brother, you have left a stamp on music that's timeless with 12 number one records and albums in the game. I mean, I'm going to go into some of the songs, so don't mind me. I'm just going to. But
You
from
could.
Revolver with Madonna featuring Lil Wayne to Sugar by Flo-Rida to Eenie Meenie with Sean Kingston and Justin Bieber to the number one Billboard R&B charting songs with Johnny Gill one year in 2016, and then another year he hits him back with another number one R&B Billboard charting song with Charlie Wilson. I mean, it's just incredible to see that you not only get it but you express it. And so my question to you is, what are your top 3 favorite songs that you've done?
Whew. Man, I would probably say Soul of a Woman was my last number one record I did last year with Johnny Gill. So I'd probably say that's one of my favorites. I'd probably say Madonna's Revolver is featuring Lil Wayne is special to me because it's one of the first records that went through a little bit of ups and downs. I didn't know if it was going to make it, but it made the cut. And huh?
I said big time. There's hardware with some shiny gold thing that wraps around like a receiver, but we know.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, that part. And then I'll probably say, man, it's a tough one. I'm torn between a song I did for Justin Bieber called "Down to Earth" because it was going through a real personal time. It was actually a song that I wrote for me. I wrote about my situation, and Justin recorded it. And then I'm torn between that one and another song I did called "I'm Blessed" for Charlie Wilson.
So I got a funny story about Johnny Gill. So I went to the
Okay.
BET Awards last year, and my buddy, my brother, he's always showed me stuff, taking me around, and he got me from being a seat filler to having a seat next to him down below. And then once we leave, Johnny Gill was the last one to perform at the BET Awards last year, and he did Frankie Beverly and the Maze. It was incredible. But I didn't really register who he was. Like, God forgive me, I'm about to tell everybody on myself. I didn't recognize who Johnny Gill was. So we find out DJ Khaled's after party is in Hollywood. And so we like, okay, we're going to figure out how we're going to get in there. By the grace of God, we got the spirit to go. We're going to go. And we see 2 Rolls Royce that's parked in front of this Hollywood club. And you got 2 bodyguards waiting outside. My friend is telling me pretty much that he's Johnny Gill when he goes to events because they don't recognize him, that there's a difference. And Johnny Gill jumps out of the Rolls Royce at that exact moment and behind him. And my friend puts his arm around Johnny Gill and starts talking about how they were at a celebrity golf event together. And they hit it off right there, and he remembered him. And then now my friend's reaching back and pulling me by my shirt to make sure I'm going with them because we don't wait in line. We're going straight to the elevator and going on up.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it was an incredible opportunity. Johnny Gill, I appreciate you for life because that was a monumental night for me. And yeah, we thought we was going to have to impersonate you, but no, you was there. God set it up just perfectly for you to be there and guide us in, and it was incredible.
Man, I got to give major love to Johnny, man. He's such a cool and humble cat, man. We text now and again. And me, I look at myself as one of the young bucks in this thing. You know what I'm saying? I still have so much to learn and so much to do. And when you have a relationship where you're creating music that these legends are singing, it just, I can't help but be humbled. You know what I'm saying? Because, to me, I'm just a kid from Savannah. I'm just trying to make it work. You know what I'm saying? I still, like I said, I'm that kid that went to Vegas and tried to sell 500 CDs. You know what I'm saying? That's just who I am, and that's just in me. So when you have people like Johnny and like, Charlie and Ralph and like all of these guys who go, yo, man, like, you dope, keep doing what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I love your songs. It means something, really, it does.
Absolutely. I mean, what's incredible is that you remain humble and you stay hungry. And my next question to you is, I got to hear about some of the highs and lows that you're willing to discuss, of course, that you've had to face throughout your career.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, highs for me, I think, well, I will say that this music thing is not people think that you are consistently always on a high every single day of your life. don't get me wrong, you're always happy for the accomplishments you make, but you always want to strive for more. And for me, you know, my highs, of course, is, you know, winning a Grammy and, you know, having records go #1. But in those in between times, because there are times when you're not going to be on the charts, and there's going to be a time when you just have to create, a time you have to hibernate a bit to work out the next cycle. And in those hibernations, man, you know, you get into your own feelings of figuring out, well, am I good enough? And do people want to hear new songs from me? Do I have what it takes to be able to compete with the newer songs out? So you're always doing that. And that's, for me, was my battle for a while. And I realized I had to put the sword down. I had to stop comparing myself to other people, because at the end of the day, what I do is what I do. I can't, you know, be anyone else but myself, and vice versa. So falling in love with who I am as a person and what I do as an artist and as a singer just made me really appreciate it. And I even transfer that into my own artistry career, right? You know, in the beginning, people loved music that I'd done so much for other people that they didn't want to hear me sing. They didn't want to hear my record come out, because, you know, people love to put you in the box, right? They love to say, oh, well, you do this, you did this, and you did that. And people only want to see that. When you go, wait a minute, I started out as a street performer. That's how you met me. So this is this is my love and my passion. And I had to redefine what success meant to me. And right now, my new single is doing very well. And after the surgery, it really allowed me to stop making excuses and just go ahead and say, hey, you know what? I got to give, I got a talent, I got to spread it with the world.
See, I say this all the time, and I fell out of it. And then, you know, I started managing a restaurant and doing other things, and I fell out of it. I took the excuse and made it okay. But when I was going through it and struggling and really going through it, I told myself, make that excuse the reason to do it. And then, you know, I continue that same type of perseverance today, so that, you know, it's monumental in what I'm doing today. And just like the basis of my show, the common denominator is that there's a lot of people that are from poverty-stricken neighborhoods with limited resources, and opportunities to make their passion, gifts, and dreams come true is slim. And so, you know, that resource, that push, sometimes doesn't come from where they hope it's coming from. So they have a fear of success. And sometimes they never ever reach that goal. And so I try to take everyone that comes on the show and shed their success story and what they've overcame. And so that, you know, one, that they could hear a blueprint, but two, if that pothole comes up the same way it came for this brother or this sister, that you understand that, you know what, I could jump over this pothole because I know how to jump. They told me how. And it's so monumental for everybody else to relate, because, you know, the face of something like what you've been through, a tumor that's eating, you know, that's like something you could eat, quickly be depressed, or you can quickly say, you know what, I'm going to battle this, I'm going to overcome it, I'm going to take whatever God's given me, and I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to move forward. And then I'm going to tell the story through my own ability, and that's another gift of yours.
I thank you, man. I agree. And likewise with you, man. I think, you know, we all have a story to tell. And do we want someone to tell it for us, or do we want to tell it ourselves? So I think we have to make that conscious decision. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to put a pause on the entertainment questions. I'm going to get into my 3 segments. My first segment is my awareness segment. I see the I Can't Breathe shirt, brother. I really appreciate you just showcasing that, you know, the voice can be seen, it can be heard, and it can also be objectified by what you wear. And so, no, thank you. And my whole segment is about police interaction. I feel that knowledge is power, but when you use that knowledge, it becomes your superpower. So I ask every guest of mine, when's the last time they're pulled over, and what's advice they can give in the situation of interacting with the police while being pulled over?
Well, I mean, I've definitely been pulled over quite a bit. So, but I'll tell you a time that was really significant to me that made me realize what it truly was. In this time, I wasn't driving, actually. I was at street performing in Savannah, my hometown. And I had to be about 22, 23. And I was street performing with my friends and my younger brother. And all of a sudden, we're singing. We're trying to find spots to sing at, because on St. Patrick's Day, this was the day we were performing on. It's packed. You're talking about 700,000 people at one place. So, you know, for us, that's like a lick. We like, yo, we about to sing and make some money. You know, only sing. I just want to remind you, like we were just doo-wopping and singing and just, you know, doing the songs that we love to do. So we had this little, little tip box, little shoe box, and that's where we, sung and got our tips. So all of a sudden, as we're getting ready to move locations, we see a swarm of police officers just pull us over to the side. I mean, like, rush us. Wasn't even a thing where it was like, hey, can we talk to you for a minute? It was just, woo. So we're all kind of on the side of this, kind of alleyway kind of thing. So they're yelling at us, telling us what we're doing here and all of this kind of stuff. And we're looking like, what is going on? We're completely confused. So my friend's from LA. So of course he was definitely known with police interactions before. With me, I was a little more quiet, a little more malmannered, because this was the first time, and I'm only, like I said, in my 20s, and this has happened to me. I'm trying to adjust and understand what is happening. And my friend says, yo, what's going on? I need answers, this, because you cannot do this. You can't just harass us for no reason. And he says, oh, we got a tip you're selling drugs. And they said, selling drugs? How are we selling drugs? He said, oh, well, what's the box for? He said, we're street performers. We're singing. That's what we do. And
wait, motherfucker.
Yeah, like, this is what we do. So he goes, my friend goes, well, I mean, honestly, I want badge numbers and names. That's it. Because I'm about to report this.
To the point.
And I didn't even know at the time that a police officer had a badge number and that you can report him. I didn't know none of this. Because, prior interactions, I've seen friends get arrested. You just go to jail. So he got a little heated with the back and forth conversation. And my brother, who was roughed up a little more than I was, he was only 17 at the time. He was crying, in tears. And to me, where I come from, and just in family in general, you protect your family at all costs. I don't care who it is. If one person talks, one person goes down, everybody go down, because that's just how I am about my family and about mine. So he tells us, the police officer says, y'all need to leave, because they couldn't find anything on us. We had no drugs, we had no weapons, we had nothing. So we asked, why do we get to leave? Like, we didn't do anything wrong. You guys made the mistake. Why are we leaving? So he goes, if you don't leave, we'll arrest you. So we're like, okay, whatever. So we start to leave. And then one of the officers go, if you come back again today, we'll arrest you. 100%. Like, just kind of like digging it in a little more, like trying to piss us off. So my brother, can you cuss on here or no?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So my brother turns around. He goes, fuck you, suck my dick to the cop. Which I thought was fair. Because at the end of the day, you're going to harass us. You're going to get every word in the book.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah. So when my brother says that, he immediately rushes at my brother. And I knew, okay, in my mind, listen to my mom, defend your family at all costs. So I got into a tussle with the cop who grabbed him. And next thing you know, we are all going into a tussle with these cops. Because as I said, I'm not going to sit here and let my brother go to jail. It's not going to happen. We all going to go to jail. So we all get arrested, and we're sitting in the back of a van. And the thing about with these officers, they didn't even take us straight to the jail. They drove around for 4 hours and kept us in the van in a hot spring. It was very hot that day, and just kept us in the back just because they could. And then went to jail finally, was placed in holding, spent a day in jail, a day and a half in jail, had the court date a month after that, and they didn't even show up.
Wow.
And to me, the part that I realized that was just so out of whack to me was there was plenty of other people, and I don't want to make this a racial thing, but I'm just calling it how I see it. There was tons of white people acting crazy belligerent, drinking, fighting, all kind of stuff. And we know there was drugs there. And you got 4 brothers who are doing the most simplest thing, which is singing. Why was there a need for someone to harass us of all people? Could it be the color of my skin? I think so.
I agree. At the end of the day, there's a few good cops, and then, you got a whole bunch of these other people that are scared to do the job, but they do it anyways. They fake their psyche evals, and You know, we got these people roaming the streets and making poor decisions and leaving scars on people that creates PTSD, that creates a whole different line of mental issues because of the interactions with them. Like, you know, from that one incident, you know, I thank God that God was with you guys that night because it could have went worse. You know, them
Way worse.
boys do not like to be touched. They don't like to be talked to a certain way. And they feel in their mind that they could do whatever they want. And it's just over the past few years that we've really been able to blow it up the way how we've been able to blow it up. And, you know, I really feel strong that if we use our knowledge in the situation of how to get out of it, you know, we'll get through it. And, you know, less opportunities for the police to do more to pretty much everybody, but more primarily to black and brown colored skin people that you know the scrutiny is happening to, the injustice.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and I think that we, you know, it's crazy how powerless we feel in these situations. You know, I know for me, the dozens of times I've got pulled over, not for anything illegal. It could just been a taillight out or anything like that. Just, hey, you went 2 miles over the speed limit. Can you believe I got pulled over going 2 miles over the speed limit? Stupid. But anyway, so just crazy, ridiculous things. I am in a state of fear, right? Because you never know what this police officer had feeling this morning. What was he thinking about earlier this day? Who pissed him off earlier this day? And he wants to take it out on you, you know? And I agree with you. I don't believe that all police officers are bad at all. That would be ludicrous for me to say that all police officers are bad. What I will say is that the bad ones get so many things covered up. They get so many things to not be able to say, not to call out what's really happening. And I think that it's making the good ones look very bad. I will say that because it's really enough. And I you know, I'm hearing stories about, you know, this young man who got shot 7 times in the back today or yesterday. I mean, this is a constant fear, and I have to, you know, I think about my children every day and the pains and the issues, and I think enough is enough. And you know, that's why I'm doing everything I can to try to, you know, uplift. And I have a mixtape actually coming out next month called The Black Chapter, and it talks about the issues that we have being Black, and it talks about the beautifulness of being Black too. So so yeah, that's my way of kind of, you know, using my voice.
No, you know, my brothers, my older sister that raised me, she's Black, and like it's culturally in me. No matter what, like at the end of the day, I'm not gonna jump out the car because we getting pulled over. I'm gonna be in the passenger seat if we getting pulled over for being Black on a Saturday night, and gonna hit us with our flashlight didn't reflect off your license plate fast enough, so we're pulling you over. Do you have guns or drugs? Nope. We're gonna search it, throw you to the ground, put some cuffs on you. You ain't got nothing. We're letting you go. No paperwork. This never happened. And, you know, that's happened over 10 times. And, you know, I live in a place called Bakersfield. I'm from LA, but I live in a place called Bakersfield. And they just killed 2 people within the past week. And, you know, it continues to happen out here more than anywhere else. And that's why I feel, you know, it's so important that we talk about this and we put the awareness out there. And, you know, it's sad that just happened yesterday in Wisconsin. And we had another situation happen within that same night, hours earlier, where they killed another brother that, you know, they say he had a knife in his hand and all he was doing was walking into the store. Like, and they shot him down like feet apart the same way they did the other brother. It's just unacceptable. Why are you so fearful for your life that you have a gun and a badge that you'd rather shoot somebody when you have a tase and a baton and all these other things that you could shoot somebody in the leg? They ain't finna jump up from that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they have to put some type of necessary precautions, or like my deep down feelings, I feel the ACLU should be the ones handling all the police involved shootings so that they would really be brought to justice. And I feel that, you know, if they really know they're going to jail when they pull out that gun, then, you know, they're going to lose their job. It's sad that they have to fit a description of bad cops for them to understand that you guys hit us with the same shit. We fit a description, so you fucking with us, but not realizing the reverse effect. You guys fit a description. We ain't fucking with y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I agree 100% that, you know, there's no repercussions for this. There's just, you get fired at worst. You know what I'm saying? No jail time, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? And what trips me out is that people still defend these people. You have people who would defend George Floyd's murderers. I'm at a loss of words because I don't know why, people will do that, and then why you would join the force, knowing you have these feelings or these ills towards people that don't look like you. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing. I don't get racism in that sense of like, why would you hate somebody at this point? You know what I'm saying? When you hear people
not have a choice. They have no choice in what they come into this world as. There's no choice in that.
No,
but we all eat, shit, sleep, and breathe. So what makes us any different? There is no different, but people put themselves in a whole different situation that's some bullshit.
It is. Super facts, man.
I could say that shit with a smile, but my smile is just covering up the amount of hatred and pain I have for the situation. So, sometimes you gotta smile sometimes. Just go through it.
Right.
Gotta go through it. I'm gonna transition out of this. I got this next segment for you, brother. We're gonna talk and I'm gonna make your brain think. It's my second segment. It's called Trading Places. You ever seen the movie with Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Trading Places? I take that idea and use it. We take two iconic people, and for you, my brother, I got Prince trading places with Babyface. Question number 1 is, will it work?
Prince trading places with Babyface. I think it would. I think both come from, a soul R&B background. Both play, multiple instruments. Both have the star quality.
So, what would be one thing different if Prince was Babyface and Babyface was Prince?
Well, I don't think Babyface will wear buttless chaps. I don't think he would do that.
Fair enough.
And I don't think Prince would. I think Prince would like the love stuff. I know Babyface does a lot of love, more slower stuff, but I think Prince would probably like to go crazy every now and again and do some crazy infusion rock kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Prince be Prince,
One thing I think about that is I imagine the people that Prince would sign if he was working with L.A. Reid. What type of groups would have been formed? What type of just the songwriters, the sounds would have been,
I think it would have been several Earth, Wind, and Fires. I think we would have heard about several of those by then.
Hey, man, you definitely survived my Trading Places segment. My next segment, my Impulse Q&A. Pretty much I got questions that are like from a fan perspective, and your job is to give me an impulse answer. You got to answer 3 questions. You don't like the question, it's all good. Just say pass. I got another one for you.
All right.
Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Question number 1.
All right.
You were trapped on an elevator for 10 hours.
Ooh.
That sucks. But what album would you listen to get you through it?
I listen to Babyface's album, The Day. Great album.
Do you have the whole album on repeat, or you just got a specific song you have?
No, I play the whole album from beginning to end.
Yeah. Question number 2.
All right.
What is one food you recommend everyone tries at least once?
Pho.
Do you say fuck?
Pho.
Pho. What's that?
It's PHO. It's called pho. Pho. It's like a Vietnamese, I think, chicken noodle soup. But it is one of the best dishes I've had. Like when it's made right, of course. My wife put me onto it. I was hating on it for years. And I told her, she's like, you should just try this. And she would order it all the time. I'm like, ugh, I don't want none of that. Like, ugh. But then I said, you know what? I'm going to stop talking shit and actually taste it. I tasted it, and that was it. And so now I order it all the time.
Did it make you do the Vietnamese chicken noodle dance?
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but if it was a dance, I probably would. I did some kind of dance to it. Shit, I probably did a Running Man. I don't know, but it definitely was a good dish. You should try it, man. It's called Pho. Pho. They got it all over LA, all over Bakersfield.
Yeah, no, I've seen them all over the place. I'd be just scared to try, something that's not from my, my bringing, and they got a bad rep with, foreign countries like that.
Oh man, you got to get out your comfort zone, brother. I'm telling you, there's so much food that I think. And don't get me wrong, I'm like you in the sense of like when I like what I like, and I don't like trying anything different because I know what I like. But when I got introduced to this, I was like, oh snap, it's like it's a different taste altogether. And yeah, I did that with a couple of different foods, so something to check out.
Well, you just signed me up. Fair enough. Question number 3. Give me your favorite studio session that you've worked in so far.
Ooh, probably say Chris Brown. I did a song called Graffiti with Chris, and the energy in there was really cool. Just being able to create and watch him work, and he was to watch me work, and my brother as well. It just was super cool to watch that energy, and it was. I think Omarion was in that session, a few other R&B cats as well, and it was just a great vibe.
I can only imagine. I mean, he's one of the greatest performers there are.
All time, yeah, absolutely.
So I can just imagine what his element was like in the studio. Just because the vibe has to be through the Richter scale, and your timing of being there is the moment to be.
Absolutely.
So my brother, if you notice, I've been saying you survived. You survived all 3 of my segments. And, as a result, as a reward, let's promote what you're working on, what you're excited about, what's coming out, what's next. Hit me with it.
Absolutely. Well, my newest single called Do It Again featuring Sean Stockman from Boyz II Men. The music video comes out on the 28th. So actually this Friday. So I'm super excited about it. It's something that is just a dream come true because I've been a fan of Boyz II Men and Sean for years. And to be able to have a song with this man is like unreal. So I'm still kind of basking in the glow of like what the hell is happening right now. But I'll come down eventually. But that's going to be coming out soon. And also, as I said, the Black Chapter. This mixtape has some amazing artists on it, featuring myself. And yeah, it's 4 songs. It's a nice little EP. So stuff to listen to while you're marching, while you're trying to get through your daily, grind, and to get you right.
Hell yeah, man. Everybody make sure you support this brother because he's going to tell you a story that's not from somebody else. It's going to be his story. And that's the most important part. Now, if you notice, my show is unique, it's different. I got segments because those other guys got segments, but I don't do it like them. And so I'm like, how do I keep that same energy and close out the show? My viewer knows it's coming. I'm going to hit you with it. You got any questions for me?
I got a question for you. You said that you managed a restaurant.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So I'm happy you brought this up. So my ex-girlfriend at the time pretty much kicked me out, and I had to move from LA to Bakersfield to move in with my brother. Mm-hmm. And at that point, we was chasing the dream, doing music every day. I used all my unemployment money to buy studio equipment and Pro Tools. And, we was rocking Mac Mini and Pro Tools and the DG Design inbox was on. And, we didn't realize that you have to mix, you have to master, you got to put videos out. And it was a process that we weren't prepared for. So it's like, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board. So it's all right, we'll go make some money, go get a job. Next thing I know, I do a interview. I get hired as a supervisor for a pizza place, this pizza restaurant. And then within 7 months, I become the manager. And, I ended up working there for 7 years, making them a whole bunch of money. And It came to a day that pretty much they was like, you're one of us. You're a Massey. And, I probably shouldn't have said the name, but oh well. And I was like, with the owner, I was like, I'm really appreciative what you're offering me. You offer me a restaurant, everything, but that ain't me. Yeah. That is not me. Like when I look in the mirror, I see Zylo Hefferan. I come from a different bloodline. I don't see no pizza in my lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but I don't see that for me and my kids. And, I can't do that to them. And so, shortly after, some crazy shit happened at work. Some guy threatened me, and I kicked him out because he got drunk, and then he started bringing some gang members to work, and I started bringing a gun to work, and I was like, it got to a point that, this job is not worth it.
Not worth it.
and I quit. And, you know, at that point, I didn't have no job. I went home, and my mother-in-law was there, my father-in-law was there, and they said the most craziest thing ever is I just told them I quit my job. And, you know, I'm trying to figure out a way to provide for my wife, their daughter, and their grandkids, my children. And today's the greatest thing to ever happen to you. Today was the greatest thing that, you know, ever happened to you. And then shortly after, I go to the BET Awards, and all type of crazy stuff happened. And I started this show in December, and here we are, and it's on my 4th season.
Such an amazing thing to watch you be so stern and steady with your vision and your goal, that you knew that this wasn't for you. Because some people, they waver, right? They go back and forth. Well, you know, the money is good, so I might as well just stay. And, you know, what's another year? And then a year turns into 5, and 5 turns into 10, and 20 turns. And next thing you know, you're like, what the hell happened? 40 years just passed by. But for you to go, hold up, pump the brakes. I need to be able to focus on something that's really what I want to do. Because I think there's nothing worse than being able to tell your kids that you had a dream, instead of saying that you made something happen from that dream. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I give all glory to God. You know, everything would not have happened the way, because he made me so uncomfortable doing something I was so comfortable doing that it pushed me to my limits of going back to the old me. And I didn't want to do that, knowing I have 2 beautiful kids to raise and a wife to look after. And, you know, once them thoughts got into my head like that, I know I had to remove myself. And, you know, it's crazy. Sometimes he got a funny way of doing things. But once you see the bigger picture, it's like, oh, this is really good. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is great. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. So, Jackie's Boy, brother, I appreciate you coming on the show. It's Uncut. It's season 4, episode 3. Man, big shout outs to Uncle Snoop's Army and Bobby D Presents. I appreciate you, brothers. I wouldn't be able to do incredibly dope shit like interview Jackie's Boy and talk about his history, talk about the #1 hits. He got like 18 of them and so much more, brother, and his incredible journey. You know, he laughed at the face of death, and then he got the story to tell, still smiling through it all. I appreciate you, brother, for coming on.
Oh, no, thank you for having me, man. And just like I said, once again, it's an honor, and just many more blessings to you, brother. Continued success.
Thank you.
What's going on? This is Jackie's Boy, and you're watching Contrast Uncut. Shout out to Uncle Snoop and Bobby D. Let's go, baby.
Yes.
This really reminds me of some Tribe Called Quest. Hip-hop really taught me to give it all I got left. Wu-Tang taught us how to beat the projects and tell my story over beats and it could be a project. Look how it all begun. Bum skibbity bum. Yeah, grew up on that knobs, on that L, on that pun. Old soul when I was young. Crisscross make them jump. Battle rapping for respect, my nigga. This ain't what you want. Can I kick it when I'm rhyming? Be a legend through Ebonics. Was a sticker boy. Felt like sticky.
Right there you go. Another episode of Contrast Uncut. Make sure if you enjoyed it, you leave a comment below. You hit some like buttons. You hit some subscribe. You go ahead and hit share if you want to. Say something nice or say something you don't want to say at all. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Comment below.